Alright, so today I'm going to be running cabling from this mirror into the inside of this vehicle on this Dodge 1500. So this customer has new mirrors with side markers, and it also has these white lights underneath it. And the mechanic already installed them, but he didn't run the wires inside of the vehicle. I'm assuming because he just didn't know how, or he didn't want to deal with it. These are extremely easy trucks to do it in, and a lot of people struggle with the plugs in the doors, and these are actually really skinny wires, so I'm going to show you how to get around without having to drill a hole. So I already did the driver's side. And the tools that you're going to need for this job is going to be, you don't have to use a drill, you can do everything by hand, but I'm going to be using a drill with, I also got a couple pry tools here. You don't have to do this. You pretty much just do with the flathead screwdriver if you wanted to, but I have the tools, so obviously I'm going to use it. So just your standard cheap pry tool right there. I have these little hockey stick, I think they're called seal removal tools, but we use them to pry off little tiny things, getting small little corners. And my ultimate pry tool, the 4140. And then you're also going to need some wire lube right here. You don't need it, but it helps. And then I have a big zip tie right here with the end cut off. I think it's like a 3-foot zip tie, and that's what we're going to use to help snake through this boot right here. Somebody obviously has already tried to take this boot off before, but they didn't try to put it back on, so I'm going to fix that for him while we're already in here anyway. So all these tools you're pretty much just going to need to remove the door. So I don't know if there's already videos on this, but I'm already here. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go right here on the door. There's a 10 millimeter right here. It's going to be kind of hard for me to do with two hands. You can use a Torx as well. I don't know what size of Torx it is, but I don't know if you can see that, but there's a screw right in there that holds the handle on. So hang on one second, I'm going to pull it off. Alright, so this is what it looks like with it pulled off. Like I said, there's a 10 mil, or you can use a Torx. I want to say that's a Torx 45 maybe. I don't know. I don't ever use a Torx one because they like to strip out. So now I'm going to switch the head on my impact. Okay. And find my Phillips. Here it is. So I don't know what it is, by the way. That 10 mil is a little more difficult to get off than most of them. I don't know what it is with mechanics, but they love to torque stuff down beyond what they need to, and I guess that's why so many mechanics break bolts. But so now you're gonna take off this Phillips right behind where the handle was. You're gonna set it down right there. You're gonna pull up this Phillips. I don't know what I can do without dropping it. Then there's gonna be another Phillips right here. And another Phillips right here. So I'm just going to pull those guys out. And then you just pull up on the entire door right here. So the whole door panel is just going to slide like that. And then we're going to go right here. Disconnect your window switch. Let's see, mechanic left them right there for us. Now I'm going to grab my drill again. I'm going to take out the speaker. Speakers out, and now we can start taking this off. So what I'm going to do is, I know that the black is ground. I already tested it with a 12-volt battery. I know the black is ground, obviously. The red is for the amber light on the side, and the purple is for the white light underneath the mirror itself. But I don't want to be pulling these individually through the door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape, and I'm going to put a couple strips all the way down. I'm not going to tape the whole thing up because that that makes a mess for later on. If you ever want to get back into it, you got to cut the tape and it leaves a big old gooey mess. I'm not going to do that. See how the factory is? So they just have one piece right there, another piece right there, and another piece right here. That's exactly how I'm going to do it. Every 6 to 10 inches or so. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. No one's ever going to see it. It's just going to hold everything together. So I'm going to do that really quick. Alright, so like I said, I'm just going to tape it up every couple inches or so, all the way down. I'm glad whoever manufactured this light left a lot more slack on the passenger side so we could run the cabling over to the other side. A lot of manufacturers don't think about that and they don't do it. So the mechanic ran it down right there just to kind of hold it in place. We're going to run this wire a little bit differently. So these hooks right here, see the square holes? You don't want to run the wire through there because that's where the door panel latches into it. So I'm just going to run it through this. There's also a little metal bar. I can't show you, but there's a little metal bar in there. We're just gonna run around that metal bar, which is where the window goes up and down at. We're gonna run around it. That way when the mirror goes up and down, it's not gonna be in the way. The wire is not gonna be in the way. Alright, so then I'm gonna put the moisture barrier back in place. Try not to rip this. It's just held in by strip caulk or yeah. So just try not to rip that because then you can get moisture and everything inside the vehicle and that's never fun. So anyway, I'm going to put another piece of tape right here just to kind of hold it, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Alright, so next, so I put my one piece of tape right there and that's going to hold that in place. So next we're going to take off this plastic clip. So inside of this clip right here there is a molex plug or plugs in here, but we need to get this off so we can run the wires through here and into the vehicle. So there's 4 clips. There's one right here, one at the bottom, and one on each side. I don't ever really get this bottom back corner. It's not really necessary if you can get the other 3 off. So I'm going to take my little hockey stick tool, is what I call it, and get back in here. And I'm going to push that clip down in the back. There we go, until it releases a little bit. And same thing on all the other corners. And once I got it a little bit out, I'm going to take my UPT and pull it the rest of the way out. So like I said, all you really need to get is those 3. I always try to do that top one first. For some reason, I guess I went back in. So, alright, sorry, I had to put the phone down to get the rest of the way out. So, like I said, you really only have to get those 3. Get my camera to focus in here. So now you can see we have the plug completely out. So we're going to run the wires through this boot. And see this corner right here? Right there in the corner? You can see daylight all the way through it. That little hole right there. I don't know if you guys can see it in the picture, but that hole right there goes all the way through to the other side, right out this hole. So we're just running these small little skinny wires through it, and these wires will fit perfectly fine through that hole. You don't have to drill it out. Now if we were running thicker wires in through here, you can buy a pin kit to pin these individually, kind of like the factory. I have those. You can also remove these pins on each side to make space on one side to drill them out if you have a pin removal kit, but I don't need to do that in this case. But yeah, you can easily move these over to this side of the plug and drill out right here so you have enough room if you were running thicker gauge wire. But we're not, so we're not going to do that today. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my zip tie and I'm going to run it through this boot as a snake. Then I'm going to tie one end of the wire right here and lube it up and pull it on through. That way we can get the wires inside the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and do it, and I'll show you guys what it looks like here in a second. Alright, so I have the zip tied now through here on this side. I have it coming through with my wires connected to the other end of the zip tie. The zip tie is nice and flexible, it's long, it's sturdy, so it's gonna hold very well. And I have my lube on here, so we're gonna lube that up right here with our installer jelly. Installer love jelly. Anyway, I'm gonna pull this through all the way through. See that? Look at that. Look how easy that is right there. Make sure, so like I said, there is a window bracket in here, right there. Make sure that your wire doesn't get tangled up or around that. Otherwise, when you go to roll your window down, it will rip the wire and everything. So now I'm gonna pull this off my zip tie. So now we just have these wires right here. And then go to that little corner, like I said, right there. And I'm going to stick these through here. So hang on 1 second, I'm going to get that done. Alright, so that's now pulled through the harness. As you can see, like I said, I went through right there, just that crack, so not to draw anything. Next, I'm going to pull this sill panel up right here. And I'm going to get the wire in, and then I'll put the boot back in, and we'll get it done. So I'm going to take this panel off next. Alright, so now I have the wire through the car, right there. It's inside of the vehicle. We're all good to go. I did end up taking this side panel off right here, just because, so I could see a little bit more and see what was going on. The driver's side was a little bit easier because on this side, they obviously put the dash in after they laid this mat in here. And this mat covers up the wires that go through that whole, go through this side right here. So they put the mat on, and it was kind of this clip right here that's holding the mat in place. I don't know if you can see that clip, but it's stuck behind this panel. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So I ended up just pulling the fabric back the best I could, and I fed the wires through. It wasn't that bad, but still kind of an inconvenience. It's not, it's whatever. But so the next step, I'm going to put the boot back in. I'm gonna put the boot over the cover. So how you do that is you get around it. See here. You bend the boot completely back, and you start on the back side of the plug, and then you just kind of roll it over the edges, and then you snap it right back into place, and then you're done. Then we're gonna put the door back on, and then we're going to finish running the wires. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the boot back on. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like when it's done. Alright, so the boot's back on. That's how it's supposed to look like. It's completely over the plastic, nice and butted up against the truck so no water can get inside of the vehicle. Now we're going to put the speaker back in and get this door panel put back on. Start running the cabling and get it put back together. Alright, and as you can see, I got everything put back together. Yeah, door panel is back in. I have the wire ran through here. This panel just kind of snaps off. I'm going to run this over to the other side. I'm going to extend it maybe, I don't know, a foot or two, and then connect it into the driver's side. So that's pretty much where I'm going to stop the video on this guy. This was for a friend. Well, we do a lot of work with each other. He helps me wrap some vehicles here and there. He also helps me design some things. You can see where he wrapped this guy, that panel. He did a strip down here. That's his truck. And then he took off the antenna. He made this little, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see it. Try to match the color as best he could just to cover up where the antenna was. But he's going to eventually get that painted over and everything like that. Anyway, so this is his truck. I'm trading work with him. I'm doing this, and he's designing some like logos and stuff like that for me. And so yeah, like I said, the mechanic put the mirrors on. He just didn't know how to run the wires through it. I hope this helps somebody out there. If you guys have any questions, please comment or leave me a message, or you can Google Nova Electronics and Tint in Manassas, Virginia, and give me a call. I help you out the best I can. If you can, please like and subscribe to my videos if you like this stuff, and I really appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Thanks.